A lot about the shutdown in the United States this morning. President Obama saying that investors should be nervous.
Yes, that's right. Not the usual calming sorts of messages we usually get from leaders to investors. This time, he said to the CNBC news channel that investors, as you say, should be concerned. This time's different, he says, when you have a situation in which a faction is willing potentially to default on US government obligations, then we're in trouble. Now, of course, what he's really talking about there is the debt ceiling, and that needs to be raised from the current $16.7 trillion level by October the 17th, or the government says they are going to be running short of cash, potentially defaulting as well. Some speculation, though, that perhaps the president's words are designed to encourage more of a sell-off in markets, because that would then, from his perspective, perhaps puts more pressure onto the Republicans to come round to his way of thinking. Well, let's see what investors are indeed doing in the markets. We can take a look at how Wall Street closed on Wednesday. You can see a bit more concern than we saw a day earlier, but not a huge amount. The Dow Jones down the most there. In Asia, markets, for the most part, in fact, those that are open anyway, been trading up. We've got a few closures, Shanghai Composite, none of that because there's a public holiday. Now, the Nikkei's been pretty flat all day. Some good news coming out of China on the service sector, helping the Hong Kong market there. OK, now here in France, we're talking about the low-cost airline Ryanair. Now, they're known for slapping quite big charges on their passengers if they go over their baggage allowance, things like that. Now, they've had quite a big fine slapped on them. They have had a taste of that medicine for sure. A court here in France saying that the company was wrong when it employed people working here in France on Irish labour contracts. The victory for the unions, making them very happy, but Ryanair say that they are certainly going to appeal, as Claire Murphy now reports.
It's often called the no-frills airline, but Ryanair management are stressing it's also a no-fraud carrier. And their protestations are required after a French court found the company guilty of breaching the country's labour laws and ordered it to pay over €8 million in damages. The court found Ryanair acted illegally when, between 2007 and 2010, it employed more than 120 staff at its former Marseille operating hub on Irish contracts. That saved on pay and taxes. The company also hampered employees' access to unions, and they're now delighted with the result.
Ryanair operated completely illegally under French law, and that created a state of unfair competition for French companies who employ pilots and navigators in accordance with French law.
The court has ordered the verdict to be carried out provisionally, which means that even if Ryanair appeals, it will still have to pay the money.
In a statement, Ryanair said it would be appealing the ruling to Europe and claimed French laws were at odds with employment regulations in the EU. The airline said the staff concerned had already paid social taxes and pension contributions in Ireland, and they shouldn't pay again.
Well, that's one that will run and run. We'll keep an eye on it. Well, let's get some more of the day's company news now. And a second bidder could be interested in the smartphone maker Blackberry. Now, last month, the company's biggest shareholder, Fairfax Financial Holdings, made a bid to take it over for $4.7 billion. Now, the Wall Street Journal says that the Cerberus, a private equity firm, is also weighing up a possible offer.
The French perfume store Sephora says its Champs-Elysées store will close at the earlier time of 9 p.m. from next Wednesday. Last month, a shop workers' union took it to court for opening until midnight during the week and 1 a.m. at weekends. The union won the case. A number of other stores in Paris have also been ordered to close earlier or to stop trading on Sundays.
And the French carmaker Renault is eyeing the market for hybrid cars. Now, until now, the company's been focusing its future car development on developing 100% electric vehicles. Well, this is after the European Union gave approval for a €20 million package of aid from the French government. That's to help the company develop diesel hybrid technology.
Okay, sticking with cars for our next story, but a bit of a scary one, really. A slightly scary video that's gone onto YouTube, Matthew. A bit of a public relations disaster for a company.
Yes, that's right. Let's take a look at these images. They were shot by a passerby of a car just outside Seattle. And, well, as you can see, a pretty serious fire going on there.
Nobody's inside of that.
It was, no, everyone was safe. Now, this clip posted online, spread around as these things do, and it had the impact of causing shares in the company that makes the car, Tesla, Motors to fall by 6% on the stock exchange. Now, they've had a pretty good run, in fact, over the last year, up 400% in the space of a year. So it was a kind of a small dent. But just to tell you what was really going on there, Tesla uses these lithium-ion batteries. They're electric-only cars. They use these very special batteries. But there have been a few concerns about the batteries. You may remember, of course, the Boeing Dreamliner 787. They were grounded for a while over batteries as well. So something that the company says it was just an accident and it hit a metal object in the road.
Yeah, quite difficult to make that direct link, perhaps. But yeah, surely worrying for people who saw that. Thanks very much, Matthew Warren, with the business news here on Live from Paris. Now we're going to take a look at what's making headlines on the internet, starting off with the launch of President Obama's healthcare plan.
Despite the partial shutdown of the US government prompted by the House Republicans' refusal to approve a funding bill for Barack Obama's healthcare reforms, the US administration launched the healthcare.gov website on Tuesday to great fanfare, a platform where Americans can choose a health insurance package to suit their income. The site had some 3 million visitors in the hours that followed its launch. In fact, it became overloaded with requests and encountered several technical glitches, preventing many citizens from registering their details to start benefiting from the subsidised healthcare. Close to 20 states are running the healthcare exchanges themselves, and many of their websites, those in New York or California, for example, also experienced delays, bugs and crashes. But despite the teething technical problems, some web users have been hailing the implementation of Obamacare. Backers of the reform, both the famous and the unknown, are urging their fellow citizens not to delay purchasing health insurance under the hashtag #GetCovered. But these initial difficulties have fueled criticism from opponents of the US president and the new healthcare system. Critics continue to campaign on social networks, appealing to their political representatives to vote against the Obamacare funding bill. Extracts from a new book published in the press last week claim British Prime Minister David Cameron doesn't like Larry, the Downing Street cat, who's been at number 10 since 2011, and that the animal is nothing more than a public relations prop. The reports have prompted an outpouring of support for the pussycat from social networkers across the UK. And so the hashtag #SaveLarry has started trending, with web users telling the little fluffball that he is loved, but more than anything, slamming the Prime Minister. Twitter users have been posting messages like these ones, saying they don't understand how Cameron can remain indifferent to such a cute little kitty. And while some are taking the matter very seriously, others have been having a bit of fun with the recent revelations. The creator of the fake Larry the Cat Twitter account, for example, has imagined what the cat makes of all the controversy. Hilarious comments that lead us to believe that although Cameron's no fan of his cat, it's none too keen on the PM either. There were so many critical, angry and also comical comments that David Cameron felt compelled to respond, and he did so via Twitter in a message assuring his fellow citizens that he gets on very well with Larry and there's no need for people to worry. A New Zealand-based NGO is urging pet owners and nature lovers to post under the hashtag #AnimalStrike to protest against a new law that's made it legal to use animal testing. It's since become a trending topic, with social networkers calling on the country's lawmakers to revoke the decision. And as we can see from these online photos, animals are also featuring strongly in the campaign, saying they should not be used as guinea pigs. The site Rap Clocks will no doubt be a hit with hip-hop fans, as it catalogues all the American rap artists currently serving time in jail and provides a second-by-second countdown to their release date. So we learn, for example, that Lauryn Hill and Fat Joe have both been convicted of tax evasion and are set to be released over the coming weeks. Rapper BG, on the other hand, was found guilty of illegal gun possession and will remain in prison for another 9 years or so. "28 of the most famous guitar solos of all time, from the 1950s through to today, packed into one video. Here's the latest offering from musical collective CDZA. it's a definite must-see, or rather must-listen, available in its entirety on YouTube.
We're also taking a musical interlude here on Live from Paris, but do stay with us after the break. In Asia Live, we're taking a look at the plight of policewomen in Afghanistan. Do stay tuned for our special report from our correspondents.